What's up? Ghost Fictions is here, and we're back again. This is the part 2 of a story where Issei was the grandson of the legendary demon hunter Dante. But before we start, please consider subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Don't forget to check the description for more informations. Now, let's get into part 2. Orc Clubroom, afternoon. The members of the Orc gathered in the main room, but to everyone's surprise, both Issei and Riaz are nowhere to be seen. Where are Issei-kun and Butchu? Akeno wondered. The rest of the members only shook their heads. An orange and a silver magic circle appeared, out come Grafia and a young man with blonde hair, blue eyes. The man wears burgundy blazer and pants, a white dress shirt with an open collar, and black dress shoes. Ah, Riaz, the man was cut off as he didn't see Riaz anywhere. Ah, Ice. A feminine voice was heard in the room. Everyone in the room knew whose voice was that. The blonde man shot himself up towards the room and blasted the door away. The Orc members, Grafia, and the blonde man looked towards the room. What everyone saw was Issei and Riaz making out, their tongues intertwining each other with bite marks on both of their necks. Ara, what do we have here? Akeno looked at the scene seductively while licking her 2 fingers. Kaneko stood there in disgust. Asia covered her eyes. Hiba gave the scene an awkward smile. Riaz, who is that vermin? The blonde man demanded to know. The pair were broken out of their makeout session. But you, who is this? Issei asked with a smirk. Let's go to the main room first. Riaz said, smirking as well. Everyone heads back to the Orc Clubroom. Rizer took his seat next to Riaz. The members stood up out of respect, while Issei just leaned against the windowsill. To everyone who doesn't know, this is Lord Rizer Phoenix, a pure-blooded high-class devil, the 3rd son of the Phoenix family, and the fiancé of the next head of the Gremory clan. In other words, Riaz Gremory's betrothed. Grafia explained to everyone in the room. This guy sure looks like he could use a beating. Issei thought to himself. Issei's scheme was going as planned. He wanted to taunt the devil by doing some funny business with Riaz, which Riaz agreed to because both share a mutual attraction towards each other. When Rizer sees this, Issei predicted that he'll challenge him to a fight. I must say, your queen's tea is exquisite, Riaz. Rizer said with a hint of anger as he grabbed Riaz's thigh. Thank you for the compliment. Akeno said with a fake smile. Would you mind explaining why you were lip-locking with this lowlife? Rizer said, pointing at Issei. I grew quite fond of him. Riaz said with a smile, further angering Rizer. You're going to marry Rizer, Riaz, this is for the future of the devils. Rizer said. How many times do I have to tell you, I don't want to marry anyone until I graduate from college, and I definitely won't be marrying you. Riaz said in anger. If burning your entire peerage and that lowlife is gonna do the trick, then so be it. Rizer said as he prepared a fireball pointed towards Issei. Rizer Phoenix, don't you dare get him involved in this. Riaz shouted, trying to protect Issei. You there, tell me your name. Rizer demanded. Someone who you shouldn't know, what's your deal? Issei arrogantly said to the devil. Rizer challenges you to a duel. Rizer announced, much to the surprise of everyone. This acid talks in 3rd person. Issei thought to himself. Grafia found this odd. Her king had already planned on making Riaz and Rizer compete in a raiding game if something went wrong, yet she didn't consider this human to be a factor. What made things strange is that everyone in the room doesn't sense Issei. It's like he's not there, apart from physically seeing him. Sure, when and where? Fried chicken. Issei said, mocking the devil. You dare sully the name of the Phoenix clan, Rizer said, firing a substantially big fireball towards Issei. Grafia prepared to counter Rizer's attack, but she saw Issei just standing there about to tank the hit. Issei chanted Royal Guard as 4 crimson summoned swords formed a pseudo-shield in front of Issei, completely negating the attack. Everyone went wide-eyed at the event. The Orc didn't think Issei would be able to deflect it or even outright negate it. Grafia was the one who's more shocked, yet kept a stoic expression, didn't consider what the boy was capable of. So, what will it be, barbecue chicken? We duking it out or nah? Issei asked arrogantly. Rizer will give you 10 days to train, you're far too weak to even match up against me. Rizer said, completely forgetting that the boy just straight up deleted his attack. Thanks for the handicap, Teriyaki-sama. Issei said, mocking the devil again. You'll regret this, human. Rizer scowled before teleporting away with Grafia soon following. So, you're going to train for 10 days? Riaz asked the boy. No, we'll use those 10 days to train you and your peerage, you never know when something like this is going to happen. Issei explained. Riaz agreed and suggested going to her family's villa deep in the mountains to train. Issei made sure to give everyone training that will push their bodies to the limit. The 10 days of training did wonders for the Gremory peerage. Riaz refined her control over her power of destruction, being able to condense the power into smaller yet more potent blasts. Akeno improved on her mastery of lightning. Issei noted that Akeno has so much more to offer. His senses dictated that Akeno is half fallen angel, but decided to keep quiet about it, for now. Asia's healing prowess with Twilight healing improved drastically, now able to heal wounds much faster. Kiba had Issei to spar with his swordsmanship, further polishing his knightly abilities and sacred gear sword birth. Kaneko only enhanced her base stats, though Issei found it odd why Kaneko wasn't using her real power. Her and Akeno could be strong pieces for Ria's peerage, Issei noted. It was nighttime, last day of training for the Gremory peerage. Riaz is seen in a gazebo reading a book under the moonlight until Issei arrived. Can't sleep. Issei broke the silence. Oh, Ice, you spooked me a bit there, and yes, I can't sleep. Riaz answered bashfully. How come? Issei asked. It's this Dumbus engagement, I can't get it out of my head. My family doesn't think that I can make my own decisions. I want to be married to someone I choose and love dearly, someone like you, and I can't see myself being married to a pig like Riser. Riaz said, clear frustration. I can't do much apart from fighting the Akatori, but I'm pretty sure something good will happen, even if it's just a little. Issei said sincerely. By the way, why did you agree to my plan? Issei added. I like you, simple as that, and you're a good kisser. Riaz said, earning a blush from the boy. The feeling is mutual, Riaz. Issei called her by her name to emphasize that he truly meant it. Care to prove it? Riaz said, walking up to the boy. Yes. Issei answered as he pulled Riaz in for a more passionate kiss. Orc Clubroom, afternoon. The orc members and Issei are seen lounging about waiting for Grafia to pick up Issei for his battle with Riser Phoenix. As if on cue, a silver Gremory magic circle appeared in the middle of the room. Greetings, I am here to pick up Issei Hyoudou for his battle. Grafia said with a bow. About time. Issei shrugged, walking over to Grafia. Grafia, can we watch the battle too? Riaz asked as the rest of the orc nodded in agreement. Yes, the battle will be broadcasted around the underworld. Grafia answered. I see, be careful Ice, I know you can win. Riaz said in a cheering manner. Hey, thanks for your support. Issei said with a slight blush. Issei and Grafia teleported to the underworld with the orc following them. Underworld Colosseum. Issei was seen standing in a huge field integrated into the Colosseum wearing his Kuo Academy uniform. There was a giant king, queen, bishop, rook, and knight piece spread across the field. So, this is the underworld, I wonder how big the entire place is. Issei thought to himself. Riser Phoenix soon came out of the gates wearing his battle outfit, looking cocky as ever with a shit-eating grin on his face. VIP area. 3 individuals are seen inside the VIP area. One is a woman with crimson hair that reached her lower back, bluish-green eyes, and a very attractive figure. She is Serena Lucifer, the current leader of the Devil faction, and one of the 4 great Satans. On her right is a girl with black hair styled into twin tails, blue eyes, and a childlike body, but with an ample amount of cleavage. This was Seraphol Leviathan. On Serena's left is a man with green swept-back hair, blue eyes, and an average build for his body. This was Ajuka Beelzebub. Though, one of the Mayu is missing. I'm gonna refer to them as Mayu, and Serena's, Fem Sirzechs, appearance as Demon King Nobunaga from Fate Grand Order. Who do you think will win in this fight? Serena asked her fellow Mass. I can't say for certain, I know Riser's capabilities, but that boy, his appearance is familiar, but I can't get a read on what he's capable of. Ajuka answered. Whatever Ajuka just said. Seraphol said with a giggle. Let us watch then, but first I must make an announcement to our contenders. Serena said with a smile. Serena projected herself to the many screens in the stadium stating. You, who's going to fight Riser Phoenix, state your name and purpose. Serena announced. Issei Hyoudou, I'm fighting this fried chicken for Ria's Gremory. Issei said. Very well, the 3 Mayu present in this fight will grant you 1 favor each. If you somehow come out on top, you can state them now or have an audience with us later on. Serena said with a bit of shock at the mention of her younger sister. My lord, you can't possibly award this lowlife, he doesn't stand a chance against Riser. Riser spoke. He came all this way to fight, we might as well see what he's capable of, and if he makes it far enough, a reward is what he deserves. Serena spoke in a regal tone. If that is your wish, my lord. Riser spoke with a hint of annoyance. Another room in the VIP area. Riaz, the orc members, Sona, and her peerage were put in one room discussing the outcome of the battle. Sona, what do you think is going to happen in this battle? Riaz asked her friend. I think Hyoudou-kun can win if he's aware of the Phoenix family's powers. Sona answered. He knows about the power, it's only a matter of how long he can keep up and how strong he can hit. Riaz said, surprising Sona as to how analytical Riaz was. We can only watch from here. Sona said. Velocium Battlegrounds. The projection of Graphia manifested in the middle of the arena. Greetings to all who is watching, I am Graphia, Queen of Serena Lucifer. I will be the mediator for this battle, in which the conditions are as follows. If Issei Hyoudou wins, he will earn 3 favors from the 3 mass present, and if Riser Phoenix wins, he will immediately be married to Ria's Gremory, and with that, begin. Graphia announced. Riser sprouted his hellfire wings and charged at Issei, firing a flurry of fireballs at Issei, the latter dodging them with ease. Issei now unfurled his devil dragon wings and flew up, mesmerizing the crowd watching as they've never seen anyone have wings like that. Issei then fired smaller sized summoned swords towards Riser, trying to give off the image of him taking the battle lightheartedly. Riser, seeing this provocation from the boy, angrily fired a larger and faster fireball towards Issei, hitting him, but didn't do any damage. "What's wrong, Yakitori-sama? Can't put a dent on me?" Issei said, mocking the devil. "Why are you not taking this battle seriously?" Riser retorted in anger. I just don't feel like putting up the effort." Issei shrugged. Riser decided to take things to a close quarter fight, coating his fists in hellfire, and fought Issei in hand-to-hand combat. Issei materialized Severance and blocked Riser's attack, following up with a flurry of slashes and evasive maneuvers. He then stepped back and focused his demonic energy on Severance and fired 2 crescent-shaped energy blades directly at Riser, hitting their target as Riser's body was split in half but regenerated all the damage shortly. Issei pressed the attack even further by using Cavalier to try continuous and heavy hits on the devil. He ran over him in its motorcycle form, performed gruesome combos that shredded Riser's body. Riser's mind was slowly breaking down from the pain, and the regeneration told on his stamina. He was beyond pissed. He flew up the sky and charged a fireball that's the size of a large boulder and threw it directly at Issei. Issei pulled out ebony and ivory. He charged twin pistols with his demonic energy and smashed them together. The 2 guns glowed and formed a substantially sized railgun and fired it at the fireball, completely obliterating the attack. Sweet, so this is what Nero said about it being a Nico special. Issei thought. All the spectators were shocked, Issei completely cancelling Riser's attack without a sweat, and they can't even sense him. Issei, seeing the shocked looks on the spectators' faces, decided that it's time. "Playtime is over, Yakitori," Issei said with a smirk. "What do you mean?" Riser scowled. "Let's do this, Drake," Issei roared as the boosted gear manifested on his left arm. "You got it, partner. Welsh Dragon Balance Breaker," Drake announced from the gauntlet. The bright light that switched between green, orange, and crimson radiated across the entire arena, blinding the spectators momentarily. When the light died down, an armored figure appeared. Its form was different from what the legends tell. Its armor still carried the colors of the Welsh dragon. The main differences were the 4 wings sprouted from the figure's back that glowed in all its radiance, and it looked more draconic than what many would have thought. An Dragonic Blademaster sound from Cardfight Vanguard. The pressure from Issei's balance breaker was enough to send chills down all the spectators watching, especially the older devils. It's the all too familiar aura of the Dragon of Domination mixed with another powerful entity, and he was certainly living up to the title. "WW, who are you?" Riser asked weakly as he was the one closest to Issei's proximity. "I am Issei Sparta Hyoudou, this generation's Red Dragon Emperor, and a descendant of the legendary Dark Knight, Sparta," Issei announced. "With the mass. SS Sparta," Ajuka whispered to himself. Serena, hearing this, wondered who that was. "Ajuka, do you know this Sparta you speak of?" Serena asked. "Not personally, but I've read and heard about him. He was the legendary Dark Knight that slew an entire demon army, along with their leader, the Prince of Darkness, Mundus. I thought that Sparta was mere legend, and now this boy is proclaiming that he's a descendant of such a powerful entity. So is Issei Hyoudou that strong?" Serafol chimed in. "Considering that Sparta was said to be among the top 10 most powerful beings in the world, he may very well surpass all of us in power if he grows and trains enough. He's also the Red Dragon Emperor, and I have a feeling we haven't seen his true form," Ajuka said, widening the eyes of his fellow Mao. "Briaz and the others." "Briaz, did you expect this?" Sona asked her friend rival while losing her composure. I didn't. I expected him to be at middle class when he first showed us his power, and I didn't know that he was the Red Dragon Emperor," Riaz answered in complete shock. "If you managed to convince him to join your peerage, you would have been a rating game champion already," Sona said. Riaz could only nod in agreement. "And you, Saji, you tried to size this monster up when you first met him," Sona scolded her pawn. Saji looked aimlessly, contemplating his life choices. Azazul's apartment. "So, the kid decided to show himself now, perfect timing," Azazel said, amused. "Who showed up?" a feminine voice answered. "Your eternal rival, Valeria," Azazel answered. Valeria Lucifer is a young woman in her teens. She had long silver hair, sapphire blue eyes, and a buxom figure. She is also this generation's White Dragon Empress, wielding the sacred gear Divine dividing the boosted Gear's rival sacred gear. I do sense Drake's awakening. It would appear that his host is also a powerful one. Albion spoke as a pair of blue mechanical energy wings unfurled behind Vali's back. Oh, Albion, you and your host are in for a very big surprise. Azazel answered cryptically. Can't wait to meet the sucker. Vali said as she made her two fists collide. Underworld Colosseum. Issei prepared to attack Riser, the latter gathering enough courage to try and put up a fight. Issei conjured 8 boosted summoned swords that went straight to Riser, impaling the devil, the swords later exploding, dealing massive damage. Riser at this point realized what a huge mistake it was to challenge such monster to a duel. The boy pulled out ebony and ivory and blasted Riser, turning his body into Swiss cheese, the devil later regenerating from the damage, but this time, it took longer. The one-sided beatdown continued for almost an hour. Issei used every move in his arsenal, from a supercharged shot from the combined ebony and ivory, a body-shredding experience from Cavalier, and a flurry of slashes from Severance. The spectators could only watch as Riser Phoenix, a once immortal bird, was reminded of how mortal he really was. Got anything to say, Yakitori-sama? Issei said with a sadistic smile. Kill me? Please. Riser said weakly as his mangled body had trouble regenerating from the damage. Alright then. Issei said as he had Severance transformed to its katana from and performed a quick-draw stance. The energy around Issei started to condense and incorporated it into Severance, saying, "You shall die." Issei was about to draw the sword. He noticed a magic circle appearing in front of Riser. A female devil appeared trying to shield Riser. "That's enough, he surrenders," the girl said teary-eyed. Issei stopped the attack and reverted to his base form. He saw a girl with blonde hair styled into drills, blue eyes, a petite figure with a bust size that shouldn't be allowed for someone her size, and was wearing a dark lavender dress. This was Riser Phoenix's little sister, Ravel Phoenix. "Fine," Issei said, surprising Ravel as she blushes at the sight of Issei's base form. Graphia teleports in the middle of the arena. "The battle is over, Issei Hyoudou wins," Graphia announced. "I'd like to have an audience with the Mao," Issei said, Graphia only nodding as the 4 figures teleported away. Graphia teleported herself and Issei to the VIP area where the Mao were seated. "We shall take this conversation to my office," Serena said with a smile. Serena's office. The group arrived at Serena's office. Issei expected her office to be a Baoji-looking office, but was surprised to see a regular-looking office. It had dark blue walls with dark gold trimmings, a good-sized table, and a snazzy-looking chair. The office looked complete with the modern-looking furnishing that went well with her office's aesthetic. Serena gestured Issei to sit along with the other 2 Mao. Graphia stood behind Serena as she is her queen. "Congratulations on your victory, Issei Hyoudou. Can I ask you a question first before we get to your favors?" Serena asked. "Thank you, and yes you may," Issei replied. "Are you an ally to us?" Serena asked as her expression changed to a serious one, the other Mao looking at him. Issei couldn't help but stare at Serena. She was basically Ria's, but more mature and refined. "Yes, that battle was all part of my plan for my debut to the supernatural world, and I plan on joining the devils, since it's what I am," Issei explained casually, earning a smile from Serena. "I'm glad to hear that. Now what do you want from us? You have 3 favors," Serena said. "First, I want Ria's engagement to be called off. Second, I want a set of evil pieces. Lastly, I want to learn a greater level of teleportation magic," Issei said, finishing his requests. "I have no objections. By the way, when you receive your evil pieces, you're immediately a high-class devil," Serena explained, earning a nod from the boy. "Do I have to take an exam or something? I'm certain that being a high-class devil isn't as simple as getting it through a favor." "Quite perceptive, good," Serena thought. "Seeing as you defeated Riser Phoenix in a battle, you most certainly passed the physical aspect of the exams. You only need to take the written, which will be held in a week, but you will still get your evil pieces handed to you by Ajuka," Serena answered. "I see, what do I need to study for?" Issei asked with a bored expression. "History and written language," Serena answered. "Great, I only know what the supernatural world is now, and I don't know a single word in your written language," Issei answered sarcastically. "I'm sure you can pass it, you have Riaz and Sona to ask about it," Serena said, giving the boy a glimmer of hope. "Ajuka, Serafal, anything to say?" Serena asked her fellow Mao. "None, I can give Issei Hyoudou his evil pieces right now actually," Ajuka said with a smile. "Same, I can teach him greater teleportation magic," Serafal said happily. "Alright, I agree on having Ria's engagement be called off," Serena said in visible relief. "Issei Hyoudou, are you really Sparta's descendant?" Ajuka chimed in, wanting confirmation from the boy. Yes, he's my great-grandfather, my grandfather being his younger son Dante, I'm the son of his daughter, Kalina. Issei explained, earning a nod from Ajuka. Quite curious indeed, but what about the draconic aura we sense from you? Ajuka asked, earning nods from the other two Mao. I got this one, partner. Drake, making his presence known as the gauntlet, materialized on the boy's arm. It's an honor to meet the Welsh dragon. Ajuka said. Likewise, the same goes for the rest of the great Satans present, back to my host's aura. He was born from a pure-blooded dragon, his father, Sirzechs, was one of my best students, he had potential to be the third heavenly dragon if he was still alive and continued to hone his skills, and if he did, he and Crom Cruach may very well have a rivalry like mine and Albion. The cause of his death is unknown, my host's mother won't disclose the details. Drake explained, earning nods from the mass. I see, I would like to see how the evil pieces react to you and your power. Ajuka said, grabbing his chin. Your existence is nothing short of a miracle. Serena chimed in with her mouth agape. Serafal went up to Issei and touched his forehead with hers, earning a blush from the boy, the latter feeling magic course from his head. There you go, you now know how to teleport anywhere in the world. Serafal said, chuckling at the boy who's beet red from blushing. Come with me, Issei Hyoudou, we will go to my laboratory to get your evil pieces. Ajuka said. Issei went to Ajuka as he prepared a teleportation circle and faded away. So, Serena, you like him? Serafal said with smug-looking face, making Serena blush in response. No, it's only good that we secured a valuable and powerful ally. Serena said, trying to sound proud. That's nice to hear, the guy's a lady killer and I want a piece of him. Serafal teased. Hey. He will be my little sister's husband and mine, and that's final. Serena said with a visible blush. Looks like we'll have to see what moves our little sisters do in order to catch quite possibly the biggest fish in the underworld, Serafal said with a giggle. Indeed we shall. Serena said as sparks could be seen in between the two masks. Rafie only smiled at the scene, she knows how her king works and feels, and she's not doing a good job of hiding it. Ajuka's laboratory. Ajuka and Issei were seen entering the laboratory's lounge, the pair was greeted by a very attractive woman. Ah, Laisha, what brings you here? Ajuka asked. Laisha Astaroth is a beautiful girl with blonde hair with blue tips, almond eyes, a voluptuous figure that's similar to Ria's, wears a red noble-looking dress with black fur that covers the sides of her neck and nape. I had planned to catch up with you, but it seems you're busy. Laisha spoke. You can say that, by the way, this is Issei Hyoudou, a descendant of Sparta. Ajuka introduced Issei as Laisha's eyes went wide from shock. My, it's a pleasure to meet a descendant of such a legendary figure. Laisha said. Likewise, Ms. Issei said, not knowing who the woman is apart from her first name. Laisha Astaroth, niece of Ajuka Beelzebub. Laisha said with a smile. Follow me, Issei Hyoudou, your evil pieces await. Ajuka said, gesturing for Issei to follow. Can you drop the Hyoudou part? Issei, ice is fine, I'm not one for formalities. Very well, Issei-kun. Ajuka said while Issei gave a whatever look towards Ajuka. Can I come too? Laisha asked. Of course, we can use the time to do what you originally planned. Ajuka said happily. The trio made their way to Ajuka's main laboratory. Issei was presented with a very sophisticated laboratory that exuded a mad scientist vibe to anyone who enters. Ajuka walked up to a pedestal and channeled his magic into it, making the contraption open. A white box appeared once the smoke cleared. Ajuka grabbed the box and presented it to Issei. Issei-kun, I need you to focus your magic or any power source you have on this box. Ajuka said, and Issei nodded in compliance. Issei focused his demonic and draconic energy on the box, and the box began to glow crimson. A few moments passed, and the box now has the Sparta magic circle engraved on top of it. The color of the box changed into a crimson and orange gradient. Ajuka opened the box and a set of chess pieces that glowed orange with a Damascus pattern floated. What caught Ajuka's attention was that the king piece responded to Issei's power. Not even high-class devils could make the king piece respond to them, except for the mass and their peerages. It looks like my hypothesis was right. Ajuka said with an uncharacteristic smirk. What does that mean? Laisha finally spoke up. Issei-kun's potential and power can rival or even surpass Arena Lucifer. Ajuka said, widening the eyes. Laisha Astaroth from such a proclamation. Are you certain, uncle? Laisha asked in shock. Yes, and him being the Red Dragon Emperor, he has the potential to reach god-class power or even beyond. Ajuka answered. Laisha was about to faint until Issei caught her bridal style. You alright, Ms. Astaroth? Issei asked the devil. Why yes, thank you for catching me, and Laisha is fine. Laisha answered with a visible blush. Very well, Laisha. Issei answered and teasing the devil. Maybe I can play matchmaker for these two, Ajuka thought. Anyway, Issei-kun, here, absorb the king piece into you. Ajuka said, earning a nod from the boy. Issei grabs the floating king piece and it slowly gets absorbed by Issei's body. Wow. The boy said in awe. How do you feel? Ajuka asked curiously. I feel as if I'm stronger by 100-fold. Issei answered. Ajuka was visibly surprised by this, he wasn't sure if he was joking or being serious. Very interesting indeed, here are the remaining pieces, whoever you want to reincarnate as your servants are up to you. Ajuka explained as he gave the box to Issei. Ah, which brings me to my first servant. Issei said as he formed a pocket dimension to store his evil pieces. Who might this be? Pray tell. Ajuka asked. Do you know Tiamat? Issei said casually. The mention of Tiamat immediately made Ajuka and Leisha sweat drop. How can someone talk about a dragon king so casually, the strongest one no less? Yes, she secretly oversees all raiding games for me. Don't tell me you want to make her your servant. Ajuka said nervously. Is he insane? Ajuka thought. That's the plan. Issei said with the widest grin he can muster. Oh my, I can't say no to this, can I? Ajuka said as he facepalmed. Nope. Issei deadpanned. Very well, I'll take you to her, Leisha, you're coming as well, this should be interesting. Ajuka said as he prepared a teleportation circle. Familiar forest. The trio were teleported to the familiar forest, they only saw an endless number of trees and a never-ending pathway. Who, what brings the Beelzebub Sama here? A voice spoke. Familiar Masters Atauji, we're here for some business. Ajuka said. The familiar Masters Atauji is a middle-aged man with a lanky build, he has neck-length hair tied to a ponytail, and brown eyes. He wears a white singlet, black cargo shorts with a blue sweater wrapped around his waist, red sneakers, black fingerless gloves, a dark blue cap, and carries a yellow backpack. What would that business be? Zatauji asked in curiosity. Before that an introduction is due. This is Issei Hyoudou, a descendant of the legendary Dark Knight Sparta and this generation's Red Dragon Emperor. Ajuka introduced Issei, making Zatauji jitter at what the boy is. It's a pleasure to meet you, Zatauji-san. Issei said, politely surprising Leisha and Ajuka by his humility. We're here to see Tiamat. Issei-kun here wants to make her his first servant. Ajuka said, making Zatauji spit his orange juice drink. Now this I wanna see. Zatauji regained his composure. Ajuka, Issei, Leisha, and Zatauji made their way towards the far end of the forest where a large cave is seen, and not a moment later, a deafening roar was heard. Edraig, what are you and your host doing here? A loud feminine voice was heard. A huge mass flew out of the cave, spraying dust all over the place. Once the dust had cleared, a 30-meter light blue western dragon with dark blue horns and gold outlines was seen hovering above the four. Tiamat, calm down, we're here on peaceful terms. Ajuka reluctantly spoke, knowing that peace was never an option. How can I be calm when this idiot comes here along with his host, knowing that he still owes me? Tiamat screamed. What does he owe you anyway? Issei asked. He still hasn't returned my treasure, and he promised me hatchlings. Tiamat again screamed. The statement had the four surprised. Oh, I completely forgot about that. Drake said as a green light glowed on Issei's left hand. This further angered Tiamat. How can you forget something so important, you dumbass? Tiamat said. Look Tiamat, I accidentally destroyed your treasure when I fought Albion, as for our hatchlings, my host might suffice, he's half dragon after all. Drake spoke, trying for a peaceful approach. Hey. I'm not a bargaining chip for your problem. Issei spoke to Drake. Technically you are, my problems are yours too, since you're my current host. Drake said, amused. There's only one way to settle this then. We fight. Tiamat said. You've gotta be kidding me, another fight. Issei said, frustrated. Well, you need to prove yourself first to become my mate. Tiamat said sternly. Fine, let's do this. Issei said excitedly. Welsh Dragon Balance Breaker. Drake announced through the gauntlet. Impressive, your wings are beautiful, and your power is beyond what I expected, this should be fun. Tiamat said as she prepared to fight. Issei instantly darted to Tiamat with Severance in hand, choosing to do an overhead slash. Tiamat dodged this with ease, retaliating with a slash from her claws, the attack doing little to no damage on Issei. Is that all you've got? Issei taunted the Dragon King. Don't underestimate me, boy. Tiamat retorted angrily. Remember partner, when it comes to emotions, especially rage, dragons are extremely vulnerable. Drake said. I know, we'll use this together to make mistakes, then strike, she's got way more battle experience than me. Issei replied. Try me. Tiamat challenged the boy. Alright. Issei said with a smirk. Issei transformed Severance to its katana form and performed 10 judgment cuts, 6 of them hitting the dragon doing decent damage, but not enough to break through the scales. Damn it, not strong enough. Issei said in frustration. You know partner, you can try that move you used to almost kill the Phoenix brat. Drake said, giving the boy the green light. Alright, I'll do it when we have the opening, it takes time to charge it. Issei replied to his dragon. Issei summoned Cavalier and dashed towards Tiamat in its motorcycle form, quickly reconfiguring to its buzzsaw form. He performed a 5-hit combo that dealt a lot more damage. He sent barrage of summoned swords towards the dragon, nearly piercing its scales. Much to the surprise of Issei, he thought that the summoned swords wouldn't do much. He's keeping up well, looks like Drake's a lucky one for having a host as strong, Tiamat thought, as she regained her bearings from Issei's onslaught. Tiamat charged at Issei, successfully landing a flurry of claw swipes and tail bashes, nearly breaking the balance breaker's armor. She's strong, but the experience gap is way too big. Anything we can do, Drake? Issei asked his dragon in frustration as his armor gets repaired. I got nothing partner, I'm just a brute force type of dragon with no plans. Drake said with a chuckle. Why didn't I think of that? Issei said. Think of what? Drake wondered. Brute force, we just have to boost out way through. Issei said with a smirk. Alright partner, let's show her true domination. Drake replied in high spirits. Let's go. Issei roared in excitement. Boost 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 boost. Issei dashed towards Tiamat in blinding speeds, connecting an axe kick to the dragon's head, shooting her whole body down to the ground. The boy pulled out ebony and ivory, charging the twin pistols with his demonic energy, quickly forming a railgun shooting the downed dragon, with a huge crater forming below. Ajuka, Leisha, and Zataoji can only watch in awe, as they've never seen someone fight the Chaos Karma Dragon with such ease and finesse after taking so much damage earlier. Not bad, now take this, Chaos Breath. Tiamat roared as a blue beam of energy shot out from the crater, directly hitting Issei. The damage done by the attack broke all of the armor, revealing a somewhat vulnerable Issei. Damn, that hurt like hell, let's take this up a notch. Issei said, strained, immediately recasting his armor. Pooh, that was a quick recovery, not one of Drake's past host could recover from that. Tiamat said, surprised. Like it so far? Issei asked as he was enjoying the battle. Yes, but you're gonna have to do more than that to prove your worthiness. Tiamat said proudly. Alright, let's do this. Issei said with a battle-hungry grin. Issei summoned Severance in its katana form, having Drake perform 20 boosts, using transfer to increase the sword's power immensely. Issei went in a quick draw stance, condensing the power into himself and Severance. Tiamat, seeing this and feeling the monstrous amounts of power, knew she was done if she let the attack go through. She rushed at Issei at full speed, but she was too late, the boy saying. Eliminate all. Issei said as he drew the sword, slashing so quickly that afterimages of himself were seen. Tiamat appears to be frozen in time as Issei reappeared just in front of the dragon sheathing the sword. As soon as the sword went in the sheath, Tiamat was seen moving, but a second later, numerous slashing sounds echoed through the forest, cracking the dragon's scales and injuring her severely. Ajuka and the others stood there shell-shocked at what just happened. Issei Hyoudou defeated the Chaos Karma Dragon Tiamat. Seems like I underestimated you, boy. Tiamat said, panting. So, am I worthy? Issei asked sarcastically as he dispelled his balance breaker. Yes, you passed, so what the hell do you want with me? I'm pretty sure you didn't come here on a whim. Tiamat said, trying to get up. I want you to be my servant. Issei said, being direct. That's it. But you're still gonna be my mate, right? Tiamat asked bluntly. Yes, and yes. Issei said while blushing from the last part. Issei took out a rook piece and began the reincarnation ritual. In the name of Issei Sparta, I command thee, Tiamat, become my rook and my embodiment of absolute defense and offense. Issei chanted. The rook piece was slowly absorbed by Tiamat, making her part devil and part dragon. After Tiamat's reincarnation, she glowed a bright blue light and seems to get smaller in size by the second. Once the light died down, a tall woman was seen with pale skin, long light blue hair that reached her hips, heterochromatic eyes, a blue right eye and a golden left eye, and an extremely attractive figure with a bountiful chest. Tiamat wore a sleeveless top with a design that resembles her scales, a long open skirt that resembled her wings, and a pair of black combat boots completing the look. Issei couldn't help but stare at Tiamat, his dragon instincts were roaring for him to mark her and make Tiamat his mate. Tiamat, noticing this, decides to play with the boy. You like, master? She spoke seductively. I sure do. Issei sheepishly replied. So, where are you staying right now? Tiamat asked. If you're asking to live with me, you can't, not yet at least, we're a full house, you'll have to stay here for the meantime. Issei explained, earning puppy eyes look from the dragon. Oh, that's too bad, I wanted to mate with you as soon as possible. Tiamat said. The time will come. Issei replied with a visible blush. I can't believe it, partner, you quelled Tiamat's rage towards me. Drake spoke teary-eyed from the sacred gear. I still hate you, Drake, your host is who interests me. Tiamat said. Is that all, Issei-kun? If it's house renovations you seek, you can ask either Serena or Seraphil, both seem to take interest in you. Ajuka chimed in. Is that so? I'll keep that in mind, for now, I'll go back to Riaz and the others. Issei replied. Very well, let's go then, see you soon Tiamat. Ajuka said as he prepared to teleport Issei, Leisha and himself back to the VIP area of the arena. VIP area. Riaz and Sona along with their peerages were waiting in anticipation for Issei's return. What do you think he asked for? Sona began the conversation. I honestly have no idea, it could be anything really. Riaz replied bluntly. I'm sure Sona was cut off as a magic circle appeared at the center of the room. Out came Ajuka, Issei, and Leisha from the circle, making the devils in the room bow in respect towards the Devil King. Do not worry, I'm only here to drop off Issei Hyoudou. Ajuka spoke formally as he and Leisha teleported away. We can certainly ask him now. Sona said. Ask what? Issei suddenly spoke. We were wondering what you asked for after your win against Riser. Riaz now spoke up. That's straightforward of you too, but sure. I asked them for my own set of evil pieces, abolish your engagement to Riser, and finally asked for a greater level of teleportation, allowing me to teleport around the world whenever I want to. Issei answered truthfully. Riaz was visibly happy, Issei saved her from Riser, and she can further advance her relationship with him. Do you have a peerage member already? Sona wondered. Yes, Tiamat, she's my first piece and rook. Issei answered casually. What? Everyone in the room shouted. You mean to tell me you managed to get Chaos Karma Dragon, the strongest dragon king in your peerage? Sona asked, losing her cool. Yes. Issei simply said. But how? Riaz now asked. Simple, we fought, and apparently, Drake here promised her hatchlings, making me her mate too, but I haven't marked her yet. Issei explained. Everyone in the room couldn't believe what they heard. The strongest of the 5 dragon kings is in Issei Sparta Hyoudu's peerage. Just the mere presence of Tiamat already made him a rating game superstar in the eyes of both Riaz and Sona. Marked? Sona and Riaz asked in unison. Basically, a dragon's way of making someone their lifelong mate, hence marking. If the male chooses to, he can have multiple mates, but the first one marked is the alpha of the pack, or in other words the harem. Drake suddenly spoke as a green light appeared on Issei's left hand, surprising everyone in the room. That's pretty much it. Issei spoke as the dragon spoke what he was about to explain. To think that you're half dragon, a descendant of one of the strongest devils in history, and the Red Dragon Emperor, you must be strongest of the Welsh dragons, many hosts past, present, and future. Sona said amazed. I can confirm that he is indeed the strongest host I've had, not one of my hosts has been able to bend the boosted gear this much to their will. Drake spoke, catching everyone off guard again. If that's all, I'll be on my way home. Issei said as he walked up to Riaz, giving her a kiss on the lips much to her surprise. Riaz blushed as red as her hair, Sona too was blushing, and was mad jealous, as her crush just kissed her friend rival right in front of her. Issei, seeing this, decides to ramp up his antics. You want as well, Sona? Issei asked Sona, looking at her in the eyes. Why yes. Sona said softly, not to be heard by anyone, but only Issei heard it. Issei then grabbed Sona's chin and pulled her in for a kiss as well. Issei snuck his tongue in, dominating the kiss, exploring the insides of her mouth. Sona could only melt deeper in, as she never felt something like this before. Bakendo watched the scene as he imagined Issei doing the same to her. Haneko was disgusted at first, but wanted to experience it as well. Beiju looked on innocently as she was oblivious to love. Biba gave the scene his signature awkward smile. The female members of Sona's peerage could only blush and watch, except for Saji, who mentally cursed Issei for making out with his crush. After a minute of making out in front of everyone, the pair finally broke off with a trail of saliva connecting their lips. Sona was gasping for air and was red as Ria's hair. Like it? Issei asked, teasing Sona. I don't know what to say. Sona replied shyly. By the way, Kaichu, I'll be asking you for something once everyone's back in the human world. Issei said, Sona nodding in compliance, still red from making out with Issei. I'll be going for real now, see you butchu, Kaichu. Issei waved goodbye to the 2 heiresses. He's definitely mine. Riaz spoke with a smug grin as soon as Issei disappeared. No. He's mine. Sona interjected. Who, what do you have to offer? He's a pervert and seems to like boobs more than anything. Riaz teased Sona. So what? I'll get him in my own way. Sona said, not making eye contact with Riaz. That's not fair, ladies, you should learn to share him, he's rather attractive. Akeno spoke up. Not you too, Akeno. Riaz deadpanned. I too want some of him. Tsubaki suddenly spoke. Omayu, not Tsubaki too. Sona said in frustration. Hide your residence, nighttime. Issei teleported just in front of his house, wondering why he won't just teleport directly to his room. Perhaps it was his habit to always greet his mother by the front door. I'm home, Issei announced. Welcome back, dear, so how was your grand debut? And where's Asia-chan? Kalina asked in a slightly mocking tone. Went well, got my set of evil pieces, abolished Ria's engagement to that prick riser, learned a greater level of teleportation, and got TIAMAT as my first ruck in peace, and Asia is with Ria's and the others. I'm sure she'll escort her here or teleport in my room or something. Issei explained. TIAMAT, but how? I know you're strong, but you haven't reached that level of strength yet. Kalina said in shock at what her son just said. Well, you remember the evil pieces. Apparently, I was one of the rare cases of getting the king piece to merge with me and my power, making me a lot stronger than before. Issei explained, earning a nod from his mother. Let's continue this conversation over at dinner, you must be hungry from all the fighting you did. Kalina said with a smile. Issei and Kalina made their way to the table where Kalina had the food already served and ate in comfortable silence. So, about Ria's, why did you abolish her engagement to this riser? Kalina asked, breaking the silence. I like her, even before I unlocked my powers, I already had a massive crush on her, and you're right, I am going after her and someone else. Issei said with a smirk. Who might be this other one? Kalina said, amused. Sona Citri, heiress to the Citri class in the underworld. Issei said casually. What, you're not satisfied with one wife? Your father only had me. Kalina replied as she spat a little of her drink out. Well, I always wanted to have a harem, and TIAMAT is my soon-to-be mate when I mark her since Drake promised her hatchlings, plus she's quite hot in her human form, Issei said. I swear you're definitely gonna get in trouble if this goes on. Kalina spoke in defeat. We'll see, Issei said with a smirk. A knock was suddenly heard. I'll get it. Kalina said, walking over to the door. Kalina opened the door as saw Riaz and Asia. Oh, welcome back, Asia-chan, and good evening to you, Riaz. Kalina said with a smile. Good evening to you as well, Kalina-san, I'm just here to drop off Asia. Riaz spoke politely. Why don't you join us for dinner, Issei and I just started eating. Kalina said. I'd love to. Riaz said as she and Asia went inside. Dinner went on for a bit and all the food Kalina prepared was now finished. Riaz, when am I gonna have grandkids? Kalina asked bluntly, making Issei and Riaz blush in embarrassment. In Asia's presence, really, Issei suddenly spoke. I don't mind seeing Issei-san with kids, I will be the best auntie to them. Asia said. She really is too pure for us. Kalina, Riaz, and Issei thought simultaneously. Why not? You two make a great pair, the Crimson Princess and the Red Dragon Emperor, quite the match if I do say so myself, plus that Citri chick, I'm sure she's a hot eye as well. Kalina said. What? You want Sona? You're mine and mine alone. Riaz spoke. Realizing her mistake, she suddenly blushed up even more. She indirectly confessed her feelings to Issei and was completely played by Kalina. So, you do have feelings for my son, my gut is always right, he. Kalina spoke proudly. Issei could only watch the scene as he too was as red as Ria's hair. I'm sure most of you are aware of the supernatural allowing polygamy, and I support partners, dream of having a harem, it's the only thing he was thinking of before he awakened his powers. Drake makes his presence known. I'll have to think about that then. Kalina said, amused. What's a harem? Asia asked. Asia dear, it's when a guy has multiple wives. Kalina answered. Really? How is that possible? Asia wondered. Well, it's the supernatural, anything can be possible. Kalina answered bluntly. Dinner went on for another half hour. Kalina did most of the talking, mainly embarrassing Issei more in front of Riaz and Asia, since she's never had the opportunity to speak about her son like this. Riaz soon left with Issei escorting her outside his home, Riaz later teleporting to her home. Asia went ahead and did her nightly duties and went to bed, leaving Kalina and Issei alone in the kitchen cleaning up the table. Mom? Issei broke the silence. Yes, dear. Kalina replied. How did Dad really die? Issei asked solemnly. Yes, I have to come clean at some point, huh? Kalina sighed. Hide your residence, nighttime. Issei and Kalina are left alone in the kitchen as Issei asked an absolute bombshell of a question. How did Dad really die? Issei asked solemnly. Yes, I too would like to know the full story. Drake chimed in. Yes, I have to come clean at some point, huh? Before that, I'll tell you everything, from how I met your father and the moment you were born, it's only right that both you and Drake know since he was Drake's student. Kalina said with a sigh. Issei only nodded with a neutral expression as Kalina used magic to project her memories. Kalina paw flashback. It all started when I was still actively working as a devil hunter, much like your grandfather. Unlike being all rowdy and flashy, I specialized in stealth missions, hence my ability to completely delete my presence. It was a usual job, clear out a bunch of demons. Got a call in the shop. Nero decided that it was my turn to take a job, so I agreed to take it. I went to the destination in the underworld. I ended up setting camp in the mountains where I sensed a powerful entity. Being the curious cat I am, I decided to investigate and conceal my presence. I arrived at the location of the power signature. It was in a nearby river. I was terrified at what I saw. It was a massive dark red dragon, maybe 30 meters in length, had even darker colored horns, amber eyes, and a huge wingspan. What made it more terrifying was the fact it knew I was there. I completely deleted my presence, yet it could sense me. It didn't attack, it just stared at me with its amber draconic eyes. I was frozen in fear. I heard of rumors that Drake had a student, and me seeing it definitely checked the boxes of being the dragon that was trained by the Welsh dragon. A dragon who could reach the two heavenly dragons in power and have a rivalry with the strongest evil dragon, Crom Cruach, and I was staring at it eye to eye. But the more I look at its eyes, the more I noticed that it had a sad look. Then it decided to speak. An. Sirzechs' look is terror of the peaks from Magic the Gathering. What brings you here? The dragon spoke. I could only stare at him as he had a male voice, but I soon gathered the courage to answer. I'm here on a mission to clear out some demons. I answered truthfully. I didn't want to anger a dragon. Strange, most devils, angels, and fallen angels faint or outright flee when they're near me, yet you're here, speaking to me. Tell me, devil, who are you? The dragon explained, then asked. I'm Kalina, descendant of Sparta. I answered. Who, a descendant of Sparta, you say? Master once told me about the Sparta bloodline and their power. Quite the feisty bunch, you and your family. The dragon spoke amused. May I know who you are? Since you already know my name. I gathered the courage to ask a question. I go by many names, but you may call me Sirzechs, the lone student of the Welsh dragon. Sirzechs introduced himself. So, the rumors were true, you are a student of Drake. I spoke. Yes, he had many other disciples, yet I was the only one who made it through his hellish training, the training to attain heavenly dragon levels of power. Sirzechs spoke. Why are you like this though? Aren't dragons supposed to be beings of pride and battle maniacs? I asked. Yes, those are all what you should see in me, but in truth, it's the reality of losing someone important is what's causing these emotions to stir and change me in a way. Sirzechs said solemnly. Was it family or a friend? I replied. Both. Sirzechs spoke sadly. What do you mean by both? I asked. Drake was my master, yes, but he was also the only family I had. Ever since I was a Drake, I lost both my parents from the constant battles in the Great War. Drake found me, then trained me to be his greatest pupil. In time we grew close together. He saw me as the son he never had, and I saw him as the family I yearned for. But as fate would have it, him and Albion fought their last battle. And both ended up dying and sealed in sacred gears. I held no grudge against Albion, nor felt angered, because I knew that it was inevitable, but I was lost, depressed, had nowhere to go, and had no purpose. Sirzechs opened up to me. Why are you telling me all of this? I replied. I'm just as confused as you are. Normally I would keep this to myself, yet speaking to you brings me comfort. Sirzechs said with a grin. I couldn't hold back a blush. A dragon just said that to me. Out of all things it had to be a dragon. I can relate to you in way. I lost my father due to his rivalry with his brother. After saving the human world from a demonic invasion, him and his brother fought to their last breath and eventually died. I spoke sadly. By brothers you mean Dante and Virgil, the twin sons of Sparta? Sirzechs asked. Yes. I answered. The human world, huh? I always wanted to go there. Not many dragons have been there. Sirzechs said. Would you like to? I can take you there. I boldly declared. Alright then, it's about time I get out of this mountain. Sirzechs now spoke in a slightly joyous voice. You need a human form though. I spoke. As you wish. Sirzechs said as he started to glow a red hue. His dragon form started to shrink, slowly morphing into a human size. Once the light faded, I was greeted with a sight that I will never forget. In front of me was a man about 6 feet and 2 inches in height, had shoulder-length red hair with black highlights, his amber draconic eyes that I grew fond of, and he was wearing a fairly flashy outfit, a black coat that had draconic scale highlights. Cream white pants, red top, and a pair of boots. How do I look? He asked me. Wonderful, quite the treat. I answered. When do we go? I assume it's after your mission. Sirzechs said. Yes, I can teleport you along with me after my mission. I answered. Lead the way. He said and I nodded in response. We made our way to the destination and scouted out the demon camp. Is this how you usually do things? I thought Spartans do things more directly. Sirzechs spoke. Well, most of them, I decide to do things my way, which is be more subtle and stealthy. I see, quite unique how you approach things. He said. Damn right it is. I spoke amused. Come on, we strike now. I spoke. I was about to jump out of our hiding spot when I noticed he wasn't moving at all. Why aren't you moving? I spoke. This is your mission, right? I'll only be watching you. He said amused. Got a point there, whatever. I deadpanned and jumped right in. I took out my scythe mercy and went straight for the ringleader, being a stray devil with 6 wings, meaning this'll take longer than anticipated. I darted towards the target, making quick work of it to down the underlings' morale. I followed up by taking out the main forces, then the perimeter guards, completely wiping the entire camp. I went back to Sirzechs, who's sporting a raised eyebrow. What gives? I asked. Oh, nothing, I was impressed by your combat style, quite fluent and quick. Sirzechs spoke. Thanks, I guess. I said, lightly scratching my right cheek. So, are we going to the human world or not? He added. Yeah, we are, come, grab onto my shoulder. I answered while I prepared a teleportation circle. He did as he's told, but when his hand touched my shoulder, it felt warm. I couldn't explain it, but maybe it's dragons having higher than normal body temperature. It was a warmth I knew I couldn't get enough of. We teleported back to the human world, directly teleporting to Nero's shop. You're back early, was it? Nero was cut off as he saw Sirzechs behind me. Who the hell is that? He said, now on guard. This is Sirzechs, a dragon I met while on the mission. He wanted to explore the human world, so I brought him here, and he's the lone student of the Welsh dragon. I explained while introducing Sirzechs. Greetings, relative of Kalina. I assume that you are her relative, since you both share hair colors. Sirzechs spoke up. Can you let him stay here? Don't worry, he's my responsibility. I said. Fine, just don't get him into trouble. Nero said in defeat. Thanks, Sirzechs, come with me, I'll get you settled in. I said with Sirzechs nodded in response. I gave him the spare room we had around the shop. It wasn't much at first, but with some magic I turned into something he can use for the meantime. Not bad at all. Sirzechs spoke up. Yep, this is your room for now, whether you decide to move out or not is up to you. I spoke. I'd rather not, you're the only company I have, at least someone I know. Sirzechs said as I was visibly flustered from what he just said. Hey, alright then, you can get to know your room for a bit, dinner's gonna be ready in a few, and don't worry about your dragon's appetite, Kiri makes a lot of food. I explained. Alright then. He answered as I walked away from his room. I closed the door and was met with a Nero who sported a smug look. So, the daughter of Dante, the legendary devil hunter, finally has a love interest. Nero spoke with a massive grin. And then no. I'm only gonna teach him about the human world. I answered with a blush as red as my eyes. Your face and tone don't do a good job at hiding it, Kalina's in love everybody. Nero announced to everyone downstairs. What? With who? Nico asked with excitement. The dragon she brought home, gotta admit, the guy's a looker. He said amused. That's nice for you, Kalina, you finally found someone, you really inherited Dante's luck with finding women, but in your case, men. Kiri spoke with a giggle. Dante's gonna grind you for this, hahaha. Trish now spoke. Yeah, I bet he would, God I miss the guy. I said with a sad smile. We do too. Trish responded. Oh, dinner's ready. Call your boyfriend down here, Kiri spoke. I went to Sirzechs' room and called him down. Yo, dinner's ready, come eat with us. I spoke. Alright, I'll be there with you. He said as he stood up from his bed. We went down the stairs to the dining table where everyone stared at us. Wow, Nero wasn't kidding when he said the guy was good looking. Nico said in shock. Yeah, no joke. Trish added. Greetings everyone, my name is Sirzechs, I am a dragon and friend of Kalina here, I hope to make your acquaintances. Sirzechs spoke regally. Hey there, name's Nico. Trish. I'm Kiri, pleasure to meet you Mr. Sirzechs. Nero, I guess you could call me Kalina's cousin. It's a pleasure to meet all of you, and please drop the formalities, I'm not one for them. He answered with a smile. What are you two waiting for, sit down and eat, food's getting cold. Kiri spoke. We sat down next to each other and ate in comfortable silence until Nero decided to be a dick. Sirzechs, how did you even meet Kalina? He asked. Well, it was her who saw me first, I sensed her presence nearing while I was in the mountains, we talked for a bit, watched her fight an entire camp of demons, and then lead to here. Sirzechs answered. I see, you must be strong if you can sense her, she can hide her presence well, did you know she's in love with you? Nero said, barely holding back a laugh. Nero? I bellowed. I do, I overheard your conversation. Sirzechs answered bluntly. When do you plan on making this a thing between you two? Nico now asked. Oh granted, why does this happen to me? I don't know yet, but I do want her to be my mate. After losing my master and only family, I was left alone, then I spoke to her. For some reason I feel comfortable with her. She made the fading embers in my heart turn into a massive blaze whenever I'm around her, and I don't want to lose that feeling. Sirzechs spoke with passion as his draconic qualities shined. It's as they say, every dragon has their treasure. Tiamat and Fafnir have their collection of treasure and relics. My master and Albion had their rivalry, but in my case, it's Kalina. He added. At this point my face was beet red. He spoke with so much passion in his words that he really made me fall for him like that. I know in my head that the feeling is now mutual. I don't want to lose him. I want to be with him forever. What say you, Kalina? Trish spoke up. I feel the same way. I spoke softly, but everyone still heard it. Everyone in the table cheered apart from Sirzechs and I. It's official. I was in love with a dragon, and that dragon is in love with me as well. This calls for a feast. Kiri said as she brought out more food, making Sirzechs' eyes widen. Your cooking is possibly the best I've tasted, so this is human cooking and food. Sirzechs said. Thank you, come on, there's more than enough for everyone. She replied happily. Dinner went on for another half hour. After that everyone went to their own devices. Nero stayed with Kiri. Trish went out for a job by Morrison. Nico went to her workshop and worked on the van and our weapons. As for me, I was escorting Sirzechs back to his room until he struck a conversation. Kalina, back at dinner, did you really mean what you said? He asked. Yes, I just have this feeling of wanting to be with you at all times. It makes me protective of you. I just hope you feel the same way. I answered as a blush crept up my face. What I said back there was all true. You do realize that dragons are not the type to lie. We are always true to our word. He spoke. I see, good night then. Tomorrow we'll go out for your first experience of human life. I said with a smile. Alright then, good night Kalina. He said as he touched his forehead with mine, our lips nearly making contact. What do we have here? Nico suddenly spoke up. What the hell, Nico? I said as she ruined our moment. Aw shucks, don't be like that. She said amused. Get out. I bellowed. Fine, no need to be so stuck up about it. She deadpanned as she left the scene. I'm so sorry about that, people in this place tend to be rowdy, including myself. I spoke with a soft tone. Don't worry, Kalina, I like it here. The atmosphere your people give off exudes being carefree and vigilant at the same time. It's a nice change of pace. Sirzechs spoke with a grin I never thought he could muster. Alright, see you tomorrow then. I spoke as I left for my room. Next day afternoon arrived, and I took him out. I was wearing a casual outfit consisting of a white top accompanied with a red windbreaker, dark blue jeans, and a pair of white sneakers. Sirzechs on the other hand, wore a black cardigan with a white inner shirt, cream pants and black loafers. Gotta say, for a dragon who just knew about the human world, he's got class. We went over to a bowler-ass restaurant that serves any food you can think of. The moment we walked in, all eyes were on us. I vividly remember what the onlookers were saying. Look at them, are they supermodels? A woman spoke up. Man, I wish I replaced the guy beside her. A man spoke. They look so good together, and that man's eyes are something I could stare at all day. A woman swooned over. Sirzechs was visibly pissed at the men with their non-stop ogling towards me. We sat down and before ordering, I taught him some table manners. So, how do I get food? He asked innocently. Well, first we have to wait for the waiter, and here's the menu. You can select what you want to eat and drink in there. I explained as I gave him the menu. Fascinating. He whispered. A few moments later a waitress arrived at our table. Good afternoon, I'll be your waitress and server for today. Are you ready to order? The waitress asked. Yes, we are. I'll have a katsu curry with an extra serving of rice and curry, a large pizza with everything on it except olives, and a large iced coffee. I ordered. The face the waitress made was hilarious as I ordered my food. Alright, how about you sir? She asked looking at Sirzechs. I'll have 2 32-ounce tomahawk steaks. Your biggest portion of loaded mashed potatoes, and a large iced coffee as well. Sirzechs ordered as he was captivated by the picture of the steak on his menu. How would you like your steaks cooked? The waitress asked, nearly fainting from our order. You'll have it medium rare. I stepped in to not confuse him. Okay, we'll have your food out as soon as possible. The waitress nervously spoke. 15 minutes passed and our food was served. We ate in comfortable silence, but was sometimes broken out of it when Sirzechs comments on how good the steaks were, and I made him taste the pizza I ordered that we ended up sharing. The other patrons couldn't help but stare at us. How could these elegant-looking people have quite an appetite and eat that much? Our meal was ending until our waitress came over our table with a serving of strawberry sundae big enough for 2. We didn't order this. I spoke. Oh, it's on the house. The place is packed ever since you two came in. Our manager decided to give you this as our form of gratitude. The waitress spoke with a smile. Light then, thank you. I spoke. You should try this, Sirzechs, ice cream is amazing. I added as he nodded in response. He did as he was told and took a spoonful and ate it. His eyes suddenly went wide and his mouth went agape. Wow, I never thought such a cold treat could be this delicious. The iced coffee was amazing already, but this is heavenly. He spoke in surprise. I couldn't help but smile at the sight. He was like a child trying out food he hasn't tasted yet. There's a lot of other flavors too. Our bowl came with a strawberry flavor. I spoke. We must hurry, Kalina, we need to find more flavors of this ice cream. Sirzechs spoke with determination. Alright, let me pay the bill first. I spoke. Bill? Sirzechs asked. In the human world, you exchange money to get items you want and you can earn money by having a job. I explained. I see. Sirzechs said as he grabbed his chin. I waved the waitress over and requested our bill and paid. We left to go to the ice cream shop and have him taste various flavors of ice cream. He favored strawberry. Funny enough, he and Dad have similar tastes. We went back home with a tub of strawberry ice cream in tow, and Sirzechs, in an act of his love for strawberry ice cream, decided to let everyone eat the tub, and we did. The tub was squeaky clean after 2 minutes of scooping. The day was amazing, Kalina, thank you. Sirzechs spoke as we sat down the couch watching TV. Don't mention it, you still have much to see and learn. I spoke. I'm looking forward to it. He said with a grin. Damn, he's changed this much in a span of 2 days, this is a straight up miracle. You better. I replied. Our little human society training thing went on for a year. In that time span, Sirzechs learned to converse with humans. I taught him slang to blend in better. He can now go out on his own whenever he feels the need to buy something for himself, of course, funded by me. Since Morrison had a lot of jobs for us, Sirzechs even did a few for him, earning himself some spare change. He learned how to cook food from Kiri as he favored Kiri's cooking over the numerous restaurants we went to. He opted to stay with us in the shop with us, and he grew closer to everyone. He liked Naiko the most. Her inventions always got Sirzechs curious on what it does. It got to a point where weapons made by Naiko were sometimes laced with draconic energy. Our relationship peaked when he surprised me with a date to a fancy restaurant where he paid for everything. He wore a nice looking suit and I wore a red dress that complemented my features. We sat down for our meal, and to my surprise he was quite the gentleman. Kalina. He spoke as he put down his wine glass and slowly stood up. Yeah? I answered as I traced his movement. He kneeled in front of me and pulled out a black box and slowly opened it, revealing a ring. The ring was made of rose gold, and on the middle of it, a tiny set of dragon claws held an amply sized ruby. Kalina, would you be my one and only mate for life? Sirzechs spoke in a tone I've never heard of. Tears welled up in my eyes and dripped as I covered my mouth from the shock that hit me. Sirzechs just proposed to me. My mind was in disarray. I loved him, yes, but for him to take the initiative was something I did not expect or even thought of. I looked at him in the eyes and spoke. Yes. I answered shortly, but the message was clear. Sirzechs is my mate and I am his. He slipped the ring on my 4th digit. He slowly went forward and our lips touched. We shared a kiss for a good minute, uninterrupted and full of passion. The moment we returned home, both our faces were plastered with visible happiness, the others asking what just happened. You two look chipper, something good happened. Nero asked. Yes, Sirzechs and I are engaged. I happily said while showing the ring. Finally, looks like I was right, Kiri haha. Nero spoke proudly as Kiri came out of the kitchen. You two are official, when are you two getting married? Kiri asked. Yes, we are, and we're going to take our time in terms of marriage. I answered. Oh, this is just exciting to hear. Kiri squealed in delight. So, you took a bet on this, Nero? I asked. No money was involved, it was just a little fun we had while waiting for the two of you to arrive. He answered. Anyway, yeah, we're official, end of story, and please don't be a dick about it. I begged Nero. Sirzechs and I went to our own rooms and slept the best sleep we've had in a good while. Time skip. A year and a half passed, Sirzechs adopted the surname Hyoudou, and we got married and went to our honeymoon in France. We moved out of Red Grave City to Kuo in Japan. We made it, and after 9 months of pregnancy, I gave birth to you, Issei. He's beautiful. Sirzechs spoke softly. Yes, he is, what should we name him? I replied. Issei, I want him to grow up and be an honest and pure-hearted man. Sirzechs answered proudly. Do you feel it? I asked Sirzechs ominously. Yeah, he's bound to be a powerful being. He answered fearfully. Sirzechs and I decided to seal your powers and change how you looked, but at the sealing ritual, your power was so immense that it took all of your father's power to seal it. It was complete, but your father was very weakened. A week passed after the sealing ritual. Sirzechs suddenly lost consciousness. I stayed by his side until he stirred awake. Little did I know that it would be the last time I'd see him awake. Kalina, raise our son and make him live a human life. It may be selfish of me to request this of you, but please, let him live a normal life. I don't want his life to be endangered because of us and here, and please make him read this once he's grown enough. Sirzechs spoke weakly as he gave me a black envelope with a red wax seal. I will, and I will protect him with all of me. I answered as tears welled up in my eyes. Sirzechs reached out his hand and patted your head. Issei, I may not be around anymore by the time you grow up, but I know that you blossom into a great man. I may not be able to hear you call me father, see you take your first steps, or study as a student, but knowing that you exist is enough for me. Goodbye, my dear sweet child. Sirzechs spoke his last words and his life faded away. Nero and the others soon came to me, and we mourned your father's death, and for the first 2 years of your life, Kiri lived with me, and we raised you, and 16 years to now, here you are, knowing the full story. Flashback end. Issei and Kalina are seen in their home's kitchen as Kalina finishes her story. And that story of your father and I, Issei. Issei is in tears after his mother conclude her flashback and watching the memory hologram. So, he died sealing my powers. Issei struggled to speak as his tears continued flowing. Yes, I'm sorry that I hid from you. Kalina spoke sincerely. Sirzechs was a dragon who surpassed my expectations, but this is something I never would have thought of, a dragon who sacrificed itself for someone. Not even sage dragons can do this. Drake spoke in the saddest tone he can muster. Was he that good of a dragon, Drake? Issei asked, recompassing himself. Yes, when I first found him, he was already different from any other dragons I've met. It seemed that losing his parents at such an early changed him to the core. Drake answered his host. I see, about the envelope he gave you, can I read it? Mom? Issei asked, switching to his mother. Yes, come with me to the basement. Kalina gestured her son to follow. Basement? Issei asked in bewilderment. Just follow me. Kalina spoke with a solemn expression. Kalina led Issei to a very specific spot in their house. A secret panel of the house floor was removable by magic, where a ladder is seen leading downwards to the basement. The pair went down and was met by a large room that was easily bigger than their home's living room. Kalina opened a safe where she reached for an envelope and a briefcase. She put the 2 items on a nearby table, where she presented them to her son. I'll be honest, I don't know what your father wrote. You're on your own when you read the contents of it, and this briefcase is for after you read the entire thing. Kalina confessed as she gave Issei the envelope. Issei opened the envelope and read the letter that came with it. Dear Issei. By the time you're reading this, you're probably in your teens and have unsealed your powers, but I just want to say that I'm sorry for being gone your entire life. I wish I could see you grow into a proud devil dragon and be badass like your mother and grandfather, but to make that happen, I had to pay the ultimate price. I wanted you to live a peaceful human life, but being the son of a near heavenly class dragon and the daughter of the legendary devil hunter has its drawbacks. The supernatural will always find a way to get to you, and I didn't want that to happen, so your mother and I made the decision to seal your powers, but it ended up costing my life. But I know that it was a worthy sacrifice knowing that you will live on. Your mother also used a lot of her concealing magic as a precaution to ensure that your aura won't leak out and attract the supernatural. But during the sealing ritual, I realized that no matter how many seals we put on you, it's inevitable that you'll be involved with the supernatural whether you like it or not. I regret not being able to see you right now, but the knowledge of you living on is more valuable than anything to me. Fulfill one wish for me, Issei. Your mother protected you, now do the same for her and everyone you care for. Always love them like you would love your family. Again, I'm sorry for not being with you and Kalina. I wish I could be there with you and be a happy family together. Never forget, I love you Issei, my dear sweet child. Your father. Sirzechs. Tears yet again are seen trickling down Issei's face, but instead of frowning, the boy is smiling. I will dad, I promise it to you and my pride as a dragon. Issei spoke with determination. Mom, what's in the case? He asked, compassing himself. Well, this is a gift from your father. He and Nico created this together, but I don't know what this actually is. Kalina answered. Kalina presented the case to Issei. Issei opened the case and found 2 items. One was a Winchester 1887 shotgun with draconic engravings all over it and was laced with demonic and draconic magic. The second item was a simple wine red long coat, but its inside had draconic designs. Ghoul, what was Grandpa's shotgun's name? Issei asked Kalina. Hyoudou. Kalina answered. This will be Orion. Issei said proudly. Nice name, you sure got our naming scheme down. Kalina said with a chuckle. This coat sure looks badass, what do I do with it? Issei added. Wear it in one of your battles. You gotta represent the family. Kalina answered. Great idea, let's go back up now, this place gives me the creeps. Issei confessed. Sure, but before that, I have something for you as well. Kalina said as she approached a sliding door. Kalina opened the door and grabbed two very familiar looking rocket launchers. Here, these belonged to my mother when she fought with dad back in the Clefeth incident. Kalina spoke as she gave Issei the rocket launchers. The first rocket launcher had a black exterior, a serrated bayonet on the end of its barrel, and mini missile pods behind it. The second rocket launcher was silver in color, looked beefier than the other launcher, had a darker shade of striped camo diesels, grappling hook on the end of its barrel, and a more high-tech looking mini missile pod on its behind. Those are Kalina Ann and Kalina Ann 2, your grandmother's rocket launchers. You can connect those two together to fire a big-ass laser, and of course, blow shit up. Kalina explained. Issei opened his pocket dimension and stored all the given items to him, but he kept the letter his father left him and neatly kept it in its envelope. Well, this supposed sad day turned into early Christmas for me. Issei said amused. Sure is, now let's go up, for real this time. Kalina said as the pair climbed up the ladder again. The pair made their way back to the surface and was greeted by drowsy Asia who was grabbing water. Did I miss something? Asia asked innocently as she downed her glass of water. Not much, you can go back to sleep. Issei said sheepishly. Asia complied and went back to bed. Their landline suddenly rang. I'll get it. Kalina spoke. Kalina picked up the phone and spoke. Hi to residents. She said through the telephone. Kalina, it's Nero, mind bringing your kid to the shop? The others want to meet him. Nero spoke. Sure, is Saturday good? Kalina asked. Yeah, it's been too long since they last saw him, Kiri especially. Nero answered. Alright, see you on Saturday. Kalina answered hanging up the call. What was that about? Issei asked. The others from Nero's place wants to meet you. Kalina answered bluntly. Oh, when do we go? Issei asked. This Saturday. Kalina answered. Alright then, I'm off to bed, Asia and I have school tomorrow. Issei said as he went back to his room. Clubroom, lunch break. The orc members are seen eating their respective lunches in comfortable silence until Riaz broke the silence. Ice, would you mind us going to your house tomorrow for our club meeting? The clubroom's getting its monthly cleaning. Riaz asked. Sure, I don't mind, I'm sure mom would love to meet the rest of the club members. Issei replied with a smile. Splendid. I've always wanted to meet your mother, Issei, I heard a lot about her from Riaz. Akeno cheered. It'd be a pleasure to meet her. Kiba gracefully spoke. And wait. Kaneko said while munching on her sweets. Next day, hide your residence. Issei along with the orc are seen just outside his home. Issei entered and announced his return. I'm home. He spoke. Welcome back dear, who are they? Kalina asked as she came out from the living room. They're the rest of the orc members and Ria's peerage. We're using my room as the venue for our club meeting, since the clubroom is getting its monthly cleaning. Issei explained. I see, do come in, I'll get snacks and drinks for all of you. Kalina said with a smile. So many friends already Issei, I'm so proud of you. The orc members except Asia couldn't stop looking at Kalina, her beauty captivated even Kiba, and Issei though he was gay, since he never seemed to show interest in girls, but all of them found one thing strange, they couldn't sense her, not one bit. The group made its way to Issei's room where Riaz began assessing her peerage's devil duties. Alright everyone, here are everyone's contract numbers for the month Riaz announced. Akeno has 11, Kaneko with 10, Kiba has 10, and Asia made 3 contracts. She listed down the numbers. That's great, Asia. Good job Asia-chan. Pretty good. I'm proud of you, Asia. The orc members and Issei praised Asia. Thank you all so much. Asia said humbled. Great job guys, let's work hard and aim higher for next month's assessment. Riaz spoke proud of her peerage. Issei's door opened violently. Sorry for barging in, I got something for you all. Kalina spoke with a grin showing 3 photo albums. Oh no. Issei spoke much to his dismay. Kalina proceeded to show baby pictures of Issei, well magically altered pictures to match his looks. Here he is in elementary school. Kalina said as she presented a picture of a naked Issei drinking a bottle of milk. He's stark naked, so small and cute. Akeno spoke. So, this is the bare naked truth of Issei senpai's past. Kaneko deadpanned intently staring into the album. Just great. Issei sarcastically commented. Though in Issei's mind he was happy for his mother, he's never seen her so talkative before, granted the material used is embarrassing for him, but he's happy, nonetheless. Little Issei, little Issei. Riaz spoke excitedly. I completely understand you, President. Asia answered. You see the appeal too, right Asia? Riaz said gleefully. Man, you didn't have to bring that up here, Mom. Issei spoke. Come on, it's not every day I get to show your baby pictures. Kalina answered as she left the room. She seems like a great mother. Kiba said with a smile. After everything I just discovered, I dare say that she may be the greatest. Issei answered proudly. Must be nice having a family. Kiba spoke in a solemn tone. Oh yeah, how about your family? Issei was cut off when he noticed Kiba's change in demeanor. Issei-kun, about this photo. Kiba spoke with uncertainty as he looked at a picture of Issei and his childhood friend. Oh, that kid lived in the same neighborhood, we used to play a lot, him and his family had to move overseas because of his parents' work. Issei answered, not noticing the sword in the background. Do you remember this sword? Kiba asked, pointing at said sword in the background of the photo. No, I was a kid, so I wouldn't know better, Issei answered. I guess things like this happen also, huh? Kiba spoke cryptically. What things? Issei wondered. This is a holy sword, Issei-kun. Kiba answered in a serious voice. Holy sword? Issei again asked. Kiba closed the album and handed it to Issei. Never mind that, thanks, Issei-kun. Kiba spoke, switching to his normal demeanor. Issei-kun, just wondering, how come we can't sense your mother at all? Akeno asked, catching Issei off guard. Yeah, even I couldn't sense her. Kaneko chimed in. Well, it's her specialty, she used to be a devil hunter, but instead of going in guns blazing, she preferred sneaking in and taking down the boss first, and to why you can't sense her, it's because she can delete her presence entirely or lower it to a degree that not even leader class beings can sense her. Issei explained, earning curious looks from the orc members. So, she's a ruse class of some sort. Riaz chimed in. Yes, you can ask her personally if you want. Issei spoke. I'll keep that in mind. Riaz replied. Well, we've taken too much of your time already, Ice, we'll be taking our leave. Riaz spoke as the other members prepared to leave. Oh, it was no trouble at all, I'm actually happy that you guys came here, I haven't seen my mother talk like that. Issei spoke with a chuckle. Alright then, we'll see you in Asia tomorrow, goodbye. Riaz said as Akeno teleported them away. Holy sword, huh, I must call Azazel about this. Issei thought to himself. Issei grabbed his phone, but much to his surprise the person he was thinking of calling, called him. Yeah? Issei answered. Issei, come over to my place, I have something to discuss with you, it's your first job from me. Azazel spoke through the line. Alright, I'll be there in a bit. Issei spoke, hanging up. Mom, I'll be out a while, I'm meeting with Azazel. Issei spoke to Kalina. Okay, sure, be safe out there. Kalina answered as she focused on completing a Rubik's Cube. Wait, did he say Azazel? Kalina thought. Damn it. Kalina cursed from her mistake. Azazel's apartment. Issei is seen in front of Azazel's door, he knocked. The door opens and reveals a Rainer who's wearing a black spaghetti top and shorts. What the hell are you doing here? Rainer asked the boy. Oh, Rainer, where's your dad? He called me over for some business, nice outfit by the way. Issei answered with a smirk. Issei, just in time, I'll take it from here, Rainer. Azazel spoke as he came out of his minibar. The pair are now seated on Azazel's couch, Issei struck a conversation. I have something to ask of you, but I'm assuming you have to, so go first. Issei spoke. Alright, you know the cadre that Rainer's team are watching for me? Well, he's coming in Kuo soon, and I need a helping hand when things go south, not an if but a when, this guy is a warmonger down to the teeth. Azazel explained, earning nods from the boy. I see, so you need a hired gun, I can do that, but why can't you do it yourself? Issei asked. I'm a leader, and if I interfere with business in devil territory, the devils will see it as a declaration of war, and war is at the very bottom of the things I need right now. Azazel spoke with a sigh. Alright, I'll do it, now for my question. Issei answered. Go ahead. Azazel replied. What are the holy swords? The orc went to my place earlier, but something was odd about Grimmery's night, his demeanor immediately changed when he saw the sword in the photo. Issei explained. I can only give you the main ones, because there have been reports of holy swords being stolen, specifically Excalibur fragments. Fragments? Issei asked in confusion. Basically, the original Excalibur was broken into 7 fragments. Destruction, Mimic, Rapidly, Nightmare, Transparency, Blessing, and Ruler. Destruction can unleash pure destructive power, Mimic can take the form of any weapon, Rapidly grants a speed boost and creates afterimages of its wielder, Nightmare can cast illusions, Transparency can turn itself or the wielder invisible, Blessing can grant powers, but it depends on the wielder's beliefs, and finally, Ruler, the strongest of the fragments, it can manipulate any living being. Granted, you made contact with your target. Azazel explained, earning nods from the boy. They all sound powerful, I assume they're effective against us devils. Issei asked. Yes, anything holy can severely injure a devil. Azazel answered. Which leads me to the main point of your job for me, because I just get intel from Raynor that 3 fragments were stolen by Kakabiel, the cadre I told you about, and he's working with rogue members of the church, and one of them caught my attention, Valper Galilei. Azazel trailed off in his thoughts. This made a light bulb flicker on in Azazel's mind. Oh no. He said cryptically. Oh no, what? Issei asked. If Galilei's involved, then they plan to fuse the Excalibur, that's the only thing I can think of right now with the current information we have. Azazel explained. Who's this Galilei guy anyway? Issei asked. I don't know much, but according to my sources, the guy is obsessed with Excalibur and was involved with some sketchy stuff in the church. Azazel explained. But why Kuo of all places? Azazel trailed off again. Then it all clicked. Azazel thought of the worst possible outcome. Damn it. Why didn't I think of this earlier? Azazel was visibly pissed. Think of what? Issei asked. That asshat Kakabiel plans on killing Riaz Gremory and Sona Citri to declare war on the devils. Azazel snarled. Issei was visibly shocked and pissed by this revelation. Oh no, he won't. Issei's demonic voice and aura flared out, startling Azazel. Kid, as much as I trust you and your powers, I'm calling another person to back you up. I won't tell who, but you'll find out soon enough. Azazel explained, easing the boy off. Should I tell anyone? Issei asked, managing to not destroy the entire complex. Not now, they'll suspect your sources and none of the devils here know of my presence. Azazel spoke in a serious tone, making the boy nod in compliance. Alright, is that all? I have another thing to ask. Issei spoke. Shoot. Azazel said. You're an inventor, right? I need some sort of contraption that can make me remember stuff instantly. The promotion exam for high class is on next week, and I don't have a sliver of knowledge on their history or language. Issei explained. You do realize you can boost any part of your body with your sacred gear, right? Azazel deadpanned. Oh yeah, now that you say it, I haven't tried boosting my brain, anyways thanks, I'll be going now. Issei said, dismissing himself. Sure kid, stop by again if you want to play a few rounds of Tekken. Azazel replied, waving goodbye to the boy. Hours passed by Azazel's apartment until Vali teleported in. Sups Oz, you called me? Vali spoke, garnering Azazel's attention. Hey Vali, I need you for a job regarding Coco Head. I'm listening. Vali was cut off when her sacred gear manifested on her back. Mind explaining why I smell drag in your home, Azazel? Albion spoke sternly, surprising the two. To put it simply, I'm setting you two up to meet. I'll be honest Vali, you and the Red Dragon Emperor would look good together. Azazel said with a smirk. Vali was flustered at his adoptive father's antics. I'm not looking for a man right now, all I want is to fight strong guys. Vali spoke as her blush disappeared. Now that I analyzed Drake Zent and his host, it can't be. Albion stopped in realization. Bingo. Azazel thought to himself, amused. What is it, Albion? Vali asked her dragon. Vali, the Red One's host is very powerful. When Drake awakened I knew his host was powerful, but I didn't think he was this strong. Albion spoke in uncertainty. What makes you say that? Vali asked in curiosity. His lineage is one that I thought was long gone. Sparta, the legendary Dark Knight himself. To put it in perspective, he single-handedly slew an entire demon army and sealed its leader, the Dark Prince Mundus. All the more reason to fight the guy. Vali spoke in visible excitement. But you won't be fighting him, it's Kakabiel who you two will be fighting. Azazel explained. You've gotta be kidding me, are you playing matchmaker right now? Vali deadpanned. You bet your ass I am, he. Azazel replied while downing his drink. You can't be serious Azazel, we need to fight the Red One and his host. Albion spoke in an irritated tone. Fine, don't blame me if he beats both your asses, guy's a powerhouse, and he hasn't reached his prime yet. Word has it that he got Tiamat to submit to him, making her his rook in his peerage, and that feat itself speaks volumes to how strong he is. Azazel spoke in an ominous tone. That indeed tells a lot about his strength. I know that Drake and Tiamat have a history, and his host managing to quell her hate and making her submit is a true testament of power. Albion spoke in a serious tone. I have to at least fight him once, opponents like him are hard to come by. Vali spoke in excitement. Hey, it's your funeral. Azazel said, amused. Streets of Kuo, nighttime. Issei is seen walking home as opposed to teleporting or using Cavalier. He sensed 6 energy signatures, 5 belonging to the orc, and 1 he doesn't know. He tracked down the signatures and lead him to the abandoned factory. He went to the entrance and saw the orc members preparing for a fight. Oh, Ice, what are doing you here? Ria spoke. Just passing by, I was walking home, but then I sensed your energy signatures, and I figured why not check it out. Issei answered. I see, we were just about to fight a stray devil, care to join us? Ria said, inviting Issei. Sure, could use some target practice. Issei spoke. Target practice. Riaz wondered. Got some new gear from my mother and father. Issei spoke. I thought your father was gone. Riaz asked. Let's say he left a few gifts for me before his passing. Issei answered while summoning Orion. Awesome. Kaneko chimed in. Alright, Asia, Akeno and I will stay behind here, while Hyoudou, Kaneko and Ice draw out the enemy. Yes but you. I'll do my best. Got you. Alrighty. Akeno, Asia, Kaneko and Issei answered while Kiba remained silent. Hyoudou. Riaz spoke, garnering her knight's attention. Yes, I understand. Alright, let's get to it. I'll only provide cover fire for you guys. I'll only step in if things go south. Issei spoke, earning a nod from Kaneko but not Kiba. Strange, is it because of the holy sword that he's acting this way? Issei thought. The trio approached the metal doors of the factory and Kaneko busted it open with a punch. Let's go. She spoke. Issei and Kiba followed and the three of them saw the factory completely empty, apart from the random scrap that was spread all over the place. I can't see anything, but I can sense her. Issei spoke. There it is. Kaneko spoke. Kaneko pointed towards a big metal tube. The three of them saw a naked woman with bluish-green hair and pink eyes. That's it. Whoa. Issei spoke but was then surprised when the stray lunged towards him. The stray transformed itself to its more monstrous form. It had a long singular horn at the center of its forehead, elongated ears, 4 arms, 4 legs, and an abdomen that's shaped like a spider. Hyoudou-senpai, come on. Kaneko spoke. Hyoudou-senpai. Kaneko again spoke in a louder tone, finally getting the knight's attention. The stray crawled up the ceiling, aiming its abdomen towards Kaneko and shot a thick liquid of some sort. The shot made contact and melted part of Kaneko's outfit. Damn it. Issei scowled while covering Kaneko. The magically enhanced buckshot from Orion was enough to deal significant damage to the stray, giving Kaneko enough time to recover. Hey, pretty boy, why the hell are you zoning out? Issei bellowed at Kiba. Kiba finally gained his bearings and went up for a slash, cutting the stray's abdomen, but then tripped. The stray saw the opportunity to attack and body slammed the knight. Luckily Kaneko was holding one of its legs in place. Blast off. Kaneko spoke as she threw the stray through the factory's skylight. Issei saw this as an opportunity to use his 2 rocket launchers. The boy connected the 2 rocket launchers, charging a huge beam, directly hitting the stray, burning its body to a crisp. It's alive, but barely. The body landed just in front of Riaz and Akeno. For disobeying the wishes of your master, on behalf of the Duke Gremory, I will blow you away. Riaz announced as she obliterated the stray's body with a blast of POD, power of destruction. The trio of Kaneko, Issei and Kiba soon came out of the factory. Ice, what was that beam earlier? Riaz asked the boy. Oh, those were my newest weapons, Kalina Ann and Kalina Ann 2. Issei answered as he summoned the 2 rocket launchers from his pocket dimension. It was very cool. Kaneko answered in her monotone voice. Quite the big gun you have there, Issei-kun. I wonder what else is big. Akeno spoke, licking her 2 fingers. Issei now had a blush from Akeno's last remark. Kaneko-chan, let me see your injuries. Asia said as she approached Kaneko. Asia proceeded to heal the burn wounds from the acid the stray shot at the girl. Sorry and thanks. Kaneko replied. Slap. The rest were drawn to the source of the noise, being Riaz slapping Kiba on the face. Have you gotten your senses back? With one mistake you could have put someone else in danger. Riaz sternly spoke towards Kiba. I'm sorry but you. Kiba answered. What's the matter? This isn't like you. Riaz asked her knight. I'm just having an off day, I'll excuse myself for today. Kiba said as he bowed. Kiba started walking off until Issei grabbed his shoulder. What's wrong with you, Kiba? It's not normal of you to speak that way. Issei asked the knight. It's got nothing to do with you. Kiba spoke as his hair covered his eyes. I'm worried, you gotta tell me something. Issei pleaded. Worried? Why are you worried for me? Devils are creatures of selfish desires after all. Kiba spoke. What are you on about? Issei asked. I do think that I was on the wrong today, I'll see you later. Kiba spoke as he walked away. Hold up, if there's something you're worried about at least tell me, swordsman to swordsman. Issei spoke. Issei-kun, you're quite the passionate individual for a devil at least, but I remembered something basic. Basic? Issei said in confusion. My reason for living, that is, the reason I'm fighting. Kiba said with a half smile. You're fighting for Butchu, right? Issei retorted. You're wrong, I live for revenge, to destroy the holy sword Excalibur. That is my reason for living. Kiba sternly stated as he walked away, disappearing in the darkness of the night. I fucking knew it. Issei said to himself, amused. Hi to residents. Issei, Riaz and Asia are seen sitting around Issei's room discussing what had just happened earlier. And that's about it, he told me that his reason for living is to destroy Excalibur. Issei said, finishing his summary of events. Holy swords are the best weapons to use against a devil, anything holy for that matter. Just touching it will burn a devil, to be cut by it is imminent death. Riaz explained as Asia and Issei listened intently. Sounds like a barrel of trouble. Issei spoke. The Holy Sword Project? Issei asked in confusion. I've never heard of that even when I was still in the church. Asia trailed off. I wouldn't think so, it was a long time ago, word is that the project failed completely. I see. Issei chimed in. Hyoudou is one of the survivors. Riaz spoke in an ominous tone. Hold on a minute. Issei spoke as he reached for one of his photo albums. No doubt about it, this is a holy sword, but not as strong as the actual Excalibur. Riaz spoke while inspecting the photo. Thibault looked at the photo and said that it was a holy sword. I'm pretty sure that he started acting weird after he saw that picture. Issei explained. For a holy sword to be this close to Issei-san. Asia spoke in disbelief. I remember now, this kid and his family would invite us to go to church with them, Mom always declined, but we stayed tight with them until they went overseas. Issei explained. I see, I now understand why the predecessor here is gone now. But I thought. Riaz spoke but was cut short. But you? Issei spoke, trying to get Riaz's attention. Oh, my bad, look at the time, I'll be going home now. Riaz excused herself. Are you walking home or teleporting? Issei asked. Well, if you escort me to my apartment then I won't mind walking. Riaz teased the boy. Let's go then. Issei said with a smirk. No fair but you. Asia suddenly spoke. How come? You live with him, I'd like to get some time with him as well. Riaz replied. Alright fine, just teleport home but you. Issei said as Riaz frowned. Oh, too bad, goodbye you two, see you in school. Riaz teleported herself out. Abandoned church. Two hooded figures are seen inside the church, one has a wrapped item that seems to resemble a sword from the outside. This place is a mess. One of the figures spoke, revealing a feminine voice. I heard that there was a skirmish here caused by devils and fallen angels. Another feminine voice answered. It's the middle of the night already, are you sure this is where we're supposed to meet? The woman said while removing her robe, revealing her blue hair with a green fringe. I'm sure of it, I spent my childhood in this place. The other woman answered, who has orange hair, and presented a very familiar picture of her and Issei. That's it guys. Thanks for watching and supporting us. See you in the next part.